be productive. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing to see not just my child, but all the children. I give God glory this morning for the opportunity to share. I thank God for the pastors. I thank God for everybody in their space. I thank God for my parents. I thank God for my husband being here. Y'all know I love that man. I tell you, I love that. Sometimes he'll look at me. He say, "What?" I say, "Nothing." I just be staring at him. That's just my love for him. I have. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just giving honor where honor is due. He keeps me going, keeps me grounded, keeps me humble. Of all the things that I have to do and be responsible for, he's always standing right next to me to give me that encouragement and that strength when I need it. So thank you, Sean, for being who you are in my life. So we've heard a lot about God's love, and it's a blessing because this morning I want to talk about our purpose. I want to talk about our purpose, and all throughout this few minutes that I'm going to be here, I want you to just recall what your purpose is, whether you know what it is right here at this moment, or whether you're still walking with God as he reveals it to you daily of what it is. Just know that in the earth, there is purpose. You have purpose. And I'll use these two scriptural references from Genesis. And I'll start at Genesis 6:19. And it says that, "And of every living thing of all flesh," this is when God is talking to Noah, "two of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee. Thou shalt be male and female, of fowls after their kind, of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after their kind. Two of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive." That was Genesis 6:19 through 20. And then we move down to Genesis 7:2, where he gets a little bit more of the revelation of what he's supposed to do. And the Lord is telling Noah, "Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth." And when we think about the story, and I tried to make sure as I was spending time with God, I wanted to make sure that children could understand what I was saying, as well as the adults can understand what I was saying. So I'll go back and forth, trying to bring it all together. So stay with me while we put this together. But just know that it had purpose. That's the topic today. It had purpose. Okay. So when we think about the story of Noah, and we think about God's revelation to him, and he was supposed to build this ark, and he was supposed to, put the animals on there and put his family on there, and he was given specific instructions on what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And we know it as almost like a story or a movie. We think about this story or this passage in the Bible, and our mind allows us to kind of visualize that Noah is doing all of this, and there's some people in the world that's like, what in the world? I can only imagine what a gopher wood is, how big that is. I can only imagine 6,000 animals all in one spot. I mean, I don't even like animals. But you think about all of this that this story entailed, and it's kind of mind-blowing if you think about it. And Noah had to really, in a sense, not just spend time with God, not just hear from God, but he had to obey God because it had purpose. All of this was purpose. To Noah, the purpose was, God said it was going to be rain. He didn't tell him when. So Noah had to live his life with the purpose and preparation of knowing that God said it would be rain. Right? So he's giving me instructions. I got to do what I'm supposed to do, because one day it's going to be rain, not consumed by all the voices of the people. Man, you crazy. You crazy. I don't know when it's going to rain. It ain't going to rain. Or you crazy. Go get all of those and all the things that, not just those years ago, but now that we hear that can distract us from our purpose, right? So keep in mind that it had purpose. Earlier, I think it was Friday, me and Langston were going to school, doing our normal thing, and we get to, and if you're familiar with, you cross over an overpass where you're going to Vance Granville. There's the overpass that crosses over 85, right? So before you get to there, there's like a corporate place where ACS and a Triangle North place. And right in front of there is, and I'm trying to make it plain so you can understand, right in front of that area, like where you go into that corporate place, there's like a space in the middle of the road of like trees and grass. I don't know what you call that. The median. Yes, thank you. The median. There was this lady's car at the median. It looked like from where me and Langston were that she had ran smack dab into that median. I could not see the front of her car. I could not see no damage from where I was. All I know that as I saw an older lady in a car that looked like it had hit a median. And I thought to myself, now Langston, we got to turn around because it's just sitting there, and I don't know if she hurt. It ain't going to hurt us to just see if she's okay. So we whip around, and we get there, and I'm a little cautious, and because, just the times we live in. And there was an older lady sitting in the car. The entire window, the windshield, the window, the top of it is smashed completely. And she's sitting in the car with her hands up like this. And I say, "Are you okay?" She said, and I said, "Oh my gosh." And I'm trying to open the door. Now the side of the car is smashed. And I'm trying to open the door. The door is jammed. I can't. So obviously that's why she didn't get out, because she couldn't get out. So after some time and a little elbow grease and some muscle, we got the door open. And I said, "Oh my," she said, "I have no idea what happened. I don't know what I hit. I didn't see nothing. There were no other cars. All I know is there was a loud crash." And I'm looking at her like, oh my God, this is crazy. This woman, and she's an older lady, and she's like, and I'm trying to check, she got glasses everywhere, and I'm like, I wanted her to sit down, and she said, I just got to sit down because I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I wanted her to sit down in my car. She said, "No, I need to sit down right where I am." And she just sat down on the ground. And if y'all know, at 7 o'clock in the morning, it was like 40 degrees out there. But she was so, her nerves and everything was so messed up. She just sat right down on the ground. And I'm looking at the car, and I was like, my God. At the very, very top of the windshield, very faint, little traces of deer hair. She wouldn't have seen it from inside the car, but it was at the very top. And I have to explain to you, and I'm sure that this is not going to do it justice, how bad this car was. It was a Toyota Highlander, so it was an SUV. So the deer, she's driving across that overpass, and out of nowhere, a deer is there. Now, on an overpass, there's no road on this side of it, and there's no road on this side of it. So where did that deer come? If she's heading this way, the deer hit the side of her car, so it smashed, bent in both doors on the side of her car, landed on top of the car, smashed where you put the sunlights and the sunglasses and where you open the garage. All of that is hanging down. It smashed the top, then landed on the windshield, and then flew off. So she had, in 10 seconds or 15 seconds, all of that happened, and this woman ain't seen nothing. All she knows is she heard it, and the Lord guided her to that median. Right? So I was looking at it, and I'm just trying, my mind, I'm shaking a little bit. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? I said, "Are you okay?" We looked, I checked her over, nobody had come. Only thing she had was glass in her hair. Now, the whole ceiling is crashed down, y'all. That thing could have came down on her head. Or that deer could have hit that truck and went over. All these things I'm thinking in my head. And two things that the Lord, all day I just kept thinking about this lady. When I dropped Langston off at school, and she started asking. I went back and I said, I'm not going to leave you until someone comes, the police or your family. And Langston texted me, Mom, is she okay? And, people were calling her asking if she was okay. And I said, because if you were my mom or my grandma, I would want somebody to stay here with you until you're fine. And she was just like, Lord, somebody done raised you right, baby. Oh, my God, you are just a sweetheart. And then she wanted to know my whole life story and whatever. But whatever was going to keep her mind off of that car is tore up. And, and she was telling me she had somewhere to be, but that's neither here or there. Two things the Lord revealed to me and in that moment, that it could have been another way. It could have been another way. But God had purpose in the deer. The deer, which we made, and I went and took a picture of it so she can see it. And when her family came, y'all, she was showing everybody, y'all, look at how big this deer is with the rack on his head. I asked Sean, what's the rack? I didn't know that the rack was the child. Forgive me. But, she was just talking so fast. But, but God used that deer and that lady, and me, and Langston, it was purpose for all of us in this situation. Langston saw compassion. He saw God's love in that moment. Because even though he had went to school, on his mind and on his heart, he said, Mom, is that lady okay? He texted me back. Me, God brought that story to me because in preparation of the animals for this morning, he brought all of it back to me. For the lady, he revealed divine protection. Because when I tell you the whole top of the sunroof glass was shattered, it was broken and no damage to this woman's head. And that car was total loss. So he revealed himself to her in that moment. You know what I thought? If that woman's car hadn't crossed that overpass at that time, that deer could have jumped off the overpass, landed onto 85 where cars are going 70 and 80 and caused a massive pile up. So it had purpose. God protected her, but he stopped suddenly what could have been worse that could have harmed hundreds of people. You see what I'm saying? We live in a world that God is so all-knowing, and our finite mind cannot understand the things that he's orchestrating on a daily, every minute, every hour, every moment of our life. You being delayed at home was for a purpose. You not having what you needed in that moment was for a purpose. Your children may have caused chaos and confusion to that moment and had to bring you to that school, but it was for a purpose. Everything has purpose according to God's will and God's way. So when we think about God's divine way of this world, it has purpose. So we move about our day and we move about our assignments, every one of us in here. As he said with the animals, the breath of life, we all have purpose. Let's go back to that text where God is instructing Noah to bring the animals. And if you are a studier of the word, it's a lot of confusion there, because is it 7 plus 7? Is it 7 times 7? Is it 2 by 2? Is it animal? Is it the spiders? Is it the snakes? He said of its kind, of its species. Back then, of its kind, a horse and a zebra would be the kind. But now it would be the species. So, Lord, what is all of this mean? That can be a bit confusing. So I'm not even going to go down that road. But God told Noah to bring 2 of every kind of unclean animals and 7 pairs of every kind of clean animals onto the ark. The group of animals included all air-breathing land animals, both clean and unclean. The larger number of clean animals was to be used for food and sacrifice after the flood. Now remember, Noah is just doing what God said, but we know that there was a greater purpose. Because after all of that storming and raining, after the water was going to recede, there was going to be life after the flood. God knew that we needed those animals. God knew that we needed the people. Noah may not have known, and then because God reveals to us in pieces, Noah may not have known, just like us in this day and time. All these years later, we're living in preparation of getting to him. We don't know what's tomorrow, the day after that, because God reveals it in pieces. But we know that we are preparing, just as Noah prepared. We are living in a time where we're preparing for when the doors close, when earth closes, when we go to heaven, right? So breaking it down, unclean animals, clean animals, birds. There were some exclusions. There were some animals that were not invited on, on the ark. The marine ones, the ones that were in the sea, the ones that didn't need air to live, right? So God didn't worry about those. Or the insects or the creepy crawlers. There were some creepy crawlers that went. And I'm thinking to myself, good Lord, why we need spiders? And why we need, I'm scared. And them little, them little centipede things. I can only imagine what in the world, all of this stuff, all of these instructions that God had to be, that Noah had to be obedient to God. He had to spend time with God. He had to listen to God. And then he had to obey God. So those animals were put on the ark to preserve the kinds of life that would be destroyed after the great flood. These animals would repopulate the earth afterwards. God commanded Noah that once he brought all of those animals, male and female, that it would ensure their survival and their continuation after the flood. Survival, repopulation, preserving the kind, economic and religious purposes when they had to eat and they had to, there were going to be times that they would have to sacrifice. That's what they did back then. All these things God had orchestrated and used through people in the earth, animals in the earth. It had purpose. Noah his family had to listen to him. There were neighbors that had to listen to him. There were the ability for people to reason. And I can only imagine that there were some that were not reasonable. That there were some people, we know, that just a part of our lives that are just not reasonable. They don't understand why you do what you do. They don't understand why God bless you the way he do. They don't understand why you have what you have or go where you go. They're always trying to figure it out. Wow. So I'm sure Noah had those moments that we have, that he could relate to somebody somewhere, everywhere he went, constantly questioning why God said this, why God did this. It had purpose. It had purpose. The Father created all animals with a purpose, even the unclean. For example, did y'all know that pigs consume feces and dead things? Having pigs on the ark would have been extremely beneficial when it came to keeping that boat clean. Now, when the doors closed, they wasn't going nowhere. So I can only imagine what a smell. I went to the fair and I went by them animals and I was like, my God, from Zion. So imagine, it would have been difficult to shovel all of the feces of all of those animals into the water. It would have been a lot of work. But what they could do was use the animals, like the pigs, to help keep it clean. Just like the pigs, there were certain kind of birds, like the buzzards. Y'all know how big those things are. They have a very necessary job of cleaning up carcasses of animals. Have you ever seen what's left after a bird cleans up a carcass? It is nothing. It eats every single piece of it. Every bit. I mean, as gross as it is, it was a necessary job that had purpose. I like to think unclean animals was almost like God's way of having a cleanup crew on that ship. The cleanup of the earth and the waters, because without it, the land would be, that boat and even the land would be full of disease. The waters would be unsanitary. It would be dirty, polluted, and just undrinkable, unlivable. So God knew and orchestrated all that for a purpose because he knew what was to come with it. And if we were to go a little bit further into the purpose of these animals, we look at the clean animals. They were often domesticated animals, so they could be used for work and for food, particularly after the flood. So since there would be no food, remember now, the earth would be destroyed. Like there was nothing. So it had to start from scratch. So God had orchestrated that after the flood, when all these animals get back to their prospective place, they had an assignment. They had a purpose in the earth. Noah's family in the months immediate after the flood would likely have relied upon eating the animals, particularly the clean ones, and new crops would be planted to feed those animals. Perhaps one of the reasons God sent the 7 pairs of flying creatures was so that they could assist with preparing environments. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say environments? How you eventually have to spread across the entire earth, not just where Noah was, but the entire earth. Flying creatures would spread out faster and farther to remote places like islands. Birds would be able to eat the seeds that were planted and fly far away and drop them in their waste to plant new creatures, right? So it had purpose. One study shows that a bird's digestive system has 370% better survival rate than any other animal. So the reason that so many flying creatures on the ark likely had less to do with sacrifice and more to do with preparing these environments of creating the world as we know it. It had purpose to not only support the animals, but the human life. So God knew what we would need. He thought of everything that we would need. He didn't leave nothing out. He didn't forget nothing. He knew everything that we need. And after all that, one thing that I really want to highlight as I walk you through what your purpose is, that after all that, one thing that is that may be overlooked when Noah was rounding up the animals, the scripture in Genesis 6:19 says, all these animals will come to you. So God may have initially made it seem like Noah, that 2 of the animals would come to him for whatever reason, and that he would have to go out and gather these animals. Because when we're reading the story and we're kind of looking at movies, we're saying he had to, but there is this small place in that scripture that says they will come to you. So I say to you today, you have purpose in the earth. You have given specific assignments of what to do in the earth. You ain't going to have to go gather nothing or nobody. Everything and everyone that has been assigned to your purpose will come to you. Now, what you have to do, listen to me clearly, you have to spend time with God. You have to listen to God. And then you have to obey God. When you do those 3 things and he brings them to you, everything else will, because God ain't forgot nothing. He knows your purpose. He knows their purpose. He's already orchestrated. So when they come to you, your purpose is revealed through them and vice versa. Because we're always learning from each and every one of us. So fulfilling our purpose in the earth is just doing what God told us to do. Stanley goes all about the city, his purpose. It may be to somebody, he's just driving around a truck going surveying different lands, but his purpose is in the earth. There's somebody somewhere that's looking at his life that's saying, I know that God is real. I see the purpose on his life. Lily is at the hospital in the cafeteria. Not all people that come to the cafeteria are sick. Through her life, they see it is purpose. She's there for a reason. Uncle Junie sells cars. Yes, people got to have cars to drive, but there are people that he encounters that they need his purpose. He don't have to go out and find them. They come to him. God orchestrated that. Miss Marsha, as hard as it is at that school, you're there for a reason, because your life has purpose and somebody somewhere needs what you have. Even years after you've retired, Gloria, all those seeds that you planted, imagine it being like those birds that fly all over and plant the seeds in different environments. You planted them not just in Russell, but in many, many children. They're going to go all over the world, and they're going to drop off what you've planted. Every single one of you, even the babies, if you're in a second grade class, if you're in a first grade class, if you're in an early college class, if you're in a community college, you have purpose. You may not understand it all right now. You may not even have all the pieces. But God, when you spend time with God, he reveals it to you. You got to listen. And when you listen and he speaks to you, obey. Trust me, life gets a lot easier when you do that. We're not exempt from troubles, but life gets a lot easier when you follow the voice of God, when you follow the footsteps of God. On earth as it is in heaven. We pray that all the time. So questioning what your purpose is and how it lines up with God's will and all that you choose to do, you have to remember one of two things. It's either building the kingdom or it's tearing it down. So when I make decisions on my life, when I make decisions on what I'm going to do today or what I'm going to do tomorrow or how my life is going to live, it's either one way or the other. Is it in line with God's will? Does it reflect God's love? Does it reflect God's purpose in my life? We have all of the same situations that Noah faced then. Imagine when the rain began and the doors shut. What was inside would be saved. What was outside would be destroyed. Now, this is a hard pill to swallow. Because we have to think about, if we just think for a moment, the agony of listening to the people that were on the outside. Some of your loved ones that are on the outside right now. Some of your friends. Some people that you have acquainted with. Being on the outside would be destroyed. The cries of the people. The scurrying of the animals trying to find a place to go. But because Noah spent time with God, he listened to God and he obeyed God, he spent his life preparing for that moment. That's God's instructions for us today. We may not be building an ark, but your purpose and your assignment is tied to a greater purpose. So you have to spend your life preparing for that purpose. Every day matters. Every moment matters. I might be in second grade right now, but God's will, I'm going to be in 12th grade one day. And then after 12th grade, I'm going to have to go to somebody's job unless I create my own job. But there's a purpose for everything that you do. We want to believe that on earth as it is in heaven, that purpose is in line with God's will for our life and for our assignment. So live your life on purpose like Noah. Was he perfect? No, and neither of us are. But he was faithful. Live a life that's rooted in the things of God so that people will come to you just like the animals came to Noah. And when they come to you, because you would have spent time with God and he will give you instructions and you will be able to pass them along. He knew what your purpose was. He knew when he formed you in your mother's womb. He knew that everything that you would have to encounter. So when people come to you, you'll be able to share the love of God with them. You'll be able to share the gospels. You would be able to share that he died for you. You would be able to even share that the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life. All those things that are in you that line up with the will of God. When the people come to you, they're animals too. You'll be able to share those specific instructions. People may not like what you have to say or even like you as a person. And that has nothing to do with you. Remember, it's not about you. It never was. But God's divine purpose in the earth. Like I said earlier, I don't like rats or spiders or bugs. I'll call Sean all the way downstairs to come kill a bug. And he roll his eyes all the way down, but he coming down to kill that bug because he know, but he's coming. But he know just how I'm terrified of just anything moving outside of the people in my house. I don't like moving things. But I know that they had a divine purpose. I know that they have an assignment just as well as I do. So I got to be able to coexist with them. I ain't got to like it. And I don't want them on me. But I have to fulfill my assignment in the earth just as they do. So I encourage you today again to live your life on purpose, because you were created with a purpose, for his divine purpose. I bless God today. Thank you.